Most people think greatness is about talent and hard work. Others think it's about luck, prayer, or timing. But the truth is greatness is about positioning. Two people can work just as hard, and one rises faster while the other stays stuck. This is not because the latter is better, but because that person is placed better. Where you show up matters. Who you are connected to matters. And how you are perceived matters. In this world, opportunity does not respond to effort alone. It responds to signals. Signals of access. Signals of credibility. Signals of readiness. And those signals are shaped by positioning. And if you want greatness, not just survival, not just comfort, but meaningful elevation, you must learn to position yourself for it. Your physical positioning is shaped by the rooms you consistently enter, the spaces that can see you, and the environments that normalize the future you want. Your social positioning is shaped the people you are known by, the names that mention you when you are not present, and the credibility you borrow before you earn it. And your perception positioning is shaped by how you package yourself, how you communicate your value, and the silent messages your presence sends before you ever speak. These three forces are working on your life right now, whether you are intentional about them or not. Here is a truth most people don't like to hear. The world does not wait to understand you before it judges you. It doesn't sit down patiently to discover your depth. It doesn't investigate your intentions. It scans you, quickly, instinctively, and then it decides. Before anyone knows how skilled you are, before they experience your work, before they hear your story, they read the signals. How you show up, how you sound, how you look, how you price yourself. These are not small things. They are silent negotiations of your worth. And many people are losing these negotiations before they even realize they are in them. How you show up on social media is perception positioning. Every photo you put out is speaking on your behalf. When you're not in the room, when you're asleep, when you're silent, online, offline, everywhere. People look at your image and draw conclusions, not because they are wicked, but because the human brain is wired to shortcut decisions. A careless photo suggests a careless mind. A blurry image whispers disorder. Poor lighting, random backgrounds, awkward presentation. They quietly say, this person does not pay attention to detail. And detail in the market's mind is a proxy for quality. You don't need luxury to look intentional. You need clarity. You need thoughtfulness. One clean, well-composed image will outperform 10 expensive but careless ones. Because intention always reads louder than price. Then there is how you describe yourself. Your bio, your introduction, the few words that are supposed to position you. Too many people treat this like a diary entry instead of what it truly is, a declaration. They talk about passion without direction. They list interests without focus. They sound busy but not clear, and confusion in the market feels like risk. People trust clarity. They don't engage with what they cannot place. If someone has to guess what you do, they will not invest the effort to find out. They will simply move on. And listen closely now. Your language is not neutral. The way you speak about yourself, your work, your journey shapes how others treat you. When you constantly shrink your words, when you soften your statements with uncertainty, when you announce your insecurity before anyone questions you, you are teaching people how to see you. Humility does not require self-erasure. Learning does not require self-doubt. You can be growing without sounding unsure. Because confidence is not arrogance. Confidence is clarity. Then there is how you dress. And no, this is not about vanity. It is about respect for context. Whether you like it or not, you're always on a stage. People read your appearance as a signal of seriousness, preparation, and alignment. When you consistently look random, unpolished, or careless, you send mixed messages. And mixed messages never inspire trust. You don't dress for who you were. You dress for the room you want access to. But even more important than appearance is delivery. Because skill without confidence often looks like incompetence. Two people can say the same thing. One will be believed. The other will be ignored. The difference is not intelligence. It is ownership. Your tone, your posture, your pacing, your certainty. These things determine whether your message lands or collapses. When you speak timidly about powerful ideas, the ideas shrink. You don't need to shout. You need to stand firmly inside your message. And then we come to pricing. The loudest signal of all. Pricing is not just about money. It is about self-perception translated into numbers. Many people think lowering their price makes them more attractive. Often, it does the opposite. Cheap is not always read as kind. It is often read as low quality, desperation, or lack of demand. Even when the work is good, pricing tells people where to place you in their mental hierarchy. And once you train people to see you as affordable, it becomes painfully difficult to convince them you are premium. Here is the core problem. Many people believe that if they are good enough, they will be noticed. But the truth is harsher than that. If you are not positioned well, people may never look closely enough to discover your goodness. Perception is not the enemy of substance. Perception is a gatekeeper to substance. It decides who gets listened to and who gets overlooked. This is uncomfortable because many of us were taught that humility means invisibility. That presentation is pride. That strategy is deceit. That if your work is good, it will speak for itself. But work cannot speak if it is never given microphone. Positioning is not pretending. It is translation. It is taking your real value and expressing it in a language the world understands. When perception positioning is weak, the cost is quiet but brutal. You work harder for less. You over-explain yourself. You are negotiated down easily. Opportunities pass you by without explanation. And slowly, your confidence begins to erode, not because you're incapable, but because you're framed poorly. So the question is not whether perception matters. It already does. The question is whether you are intentional about it. Does your presentation reinforce your value or undermine it? Would you pay premium for the version of yourself you are currently showing the world? Are you making it easy for people to trust you? This is not about ego. This is not about forming. This is about alignment. Because whether you like it or not, the market responds to signals before it experiences substance. And if you don't control the signal, something else will. And most times, that something else is chance. And chance is a terrible brand manager. Now, let's talk about physical positioning. Hard work does not move you forward by itself. Effort does not automatically translate into elevation. Skill, on its own, does not guarantee visibility. What moves people faster than effort is placement, where you consistently show up, where you are seen, where your name circulates. That is physical positioning. And whether you like it or not, it is negotiating your future every single day. Many people are exhausted not because they are lazy, but because they are grinding in rooms that cannot reward them. They are putting premium energy into low-opportunity environments and wondering why nothing is changing. They keep asking, what more should I do, when the real question is, where am I doing it? Because the truth is this. Effort multiplies or diminishes depending on environment. The same person can feel invisible in one room and exceptional in another, not because they suddenly became better, but because the room finally had the capacity to see them. Every environment has a ceiling. Some rooms are built for survival. Others are built for growth. And if you stay too long in a room designed for survival, it will eventually convince you that your hunger is greed, your ambition is arrogance, and your desire for more is unrealistic. This is how people slowly downsize their dreams without realizing it. Physical positioning is not about being seen everywhere. It is about being seen somewhere that matters. It is about choosing environments where opportunity circulates naturally, where conversations lead to access, where information flows, where excellence is normal, not exceptional. Many people are faithful to places that have no future for them. They keep showing up out of loyalty, familiarity, fear, or comfort. They stay because they are known there. They are respected there. They are safe there. But safety is not the same thing as progress. Some rooms will clap for you, but never connect you. Some rooms will praise you, but never pay you. Some rooms will celebrate your talent, but cannot scale it. And if you are honest with yourself, you already know which rooms those are in your life. Physical positioning requires courage because it demands that you leave environments where you are understood for environments where you are unknown. It asks you to trade familiarity for possibility. And that transition is uncomfortable. When you enter bigger rooms, you will feel smaller at first, not because you are inadequate, but because the standard is higher. and high standards are humbling. But here's what those bigger rooms give you in return. Perspective. You start to see what is possible. You hear conversations you were never exposed to. You realize that what you thought was big was actually just normal at the next level. Your thinking stretches. Your discipline upgrades. Your excuses expire. This is why proximity matters. Not proximity for clout, but proximity for calibration. Being around people who are doing more than you forces an internal audit. It shows you gaps you didn't know existed. It reveals skills you need to acquire. It upgrades your sense of timing, quality, and pace. And let me be clear, physical positioning is not about luxury or aesthetics. It is not about taking pictures in fancy places. It is about access to the right ecosystems. Sometimes the most powerful rooms are quiet. A workshop, a closed-door meeting, a serious community, a room where nobody is loud, but everyone is connected. Not every valuable room is popular, and not every popular room is valuable. You can attend events for years and still be poorly positioned if you are not intentional about which ones you choose. Showing up without strategy is just movement, not progress. Physical positioning is not about attendance. It is about alignment. Ask yourself, does this space expose me to opportunity or just entertainment? Does it stretch me or just soothe me? Does it normalize the future I want? Or does it anchor me to the past I'm trying to outgrow? Because environments teach. Even when you're not paying attention, you are being trained. You adopt the language, the pace, the ambition level of the rooms you frequent. If a space normalizes mediocrity, you will eventually stop fighting it. If it normalizes excellence, you will either rise or leave. This is why some people grow quietly but rapidly after changing cities, industries, or communities. It's not magic. It's environment. They entered rooms where what they desired was already normal. And once something is normal, it becomes achievable. But physical positioning also requires discipline. You cannot keep one foot in your old environment and one foot in the new one and expect clarity. There comes a point where constant back and forth becomes self-sabotage. You cannot fully adopt new standards while constantly explaining yourself to old ones. Growth demands distance. Not always physical distance, but psychological distance. A willingness to stop seeking permission from places that no longer fit. And here's the uncomfortable part. Some rooms will resent your exit, not because you did anything wrong, but because your movement highlights their stagnation. They will call you proud. They will call you changed. They will say you're trying too hard. But evolution always looks like betrayal to those committed to sameness. You must decide whether you want to be liked where you are or respected where you're going. Physical positioning is not a one-time decision. It is a habit, a series of small, deliberate choices. What events you attend, what spaces you prioritize, what platforms you engage seriously with, where you invest your time, attention, and presence. Your calendar is a map of your future. Your regular locations are clues to your trajectory. And the biggest mistake people make is waiting to feel ready before entering better rooms. Readiness does not precede exposure. Exposure creates readiness. You don't grow into bigger spaces in isolation. You grow by being slightly uncomfortable in them. So if you feel out of place, that might be a sign you're exactly where you need to be. Let me end with this. You don't rise because you want more. You rise because you position yourself where more is normal. Stop asking if you're good enough for the room. Ask if the room is big enough for who you are becoming. Because your future is not just shaped by what you do, but by where you consistently do it. Choose your rooms carefully. They are quietly choosing your outcome. If physical positioning is about rooms, social positioning is about names. And names open doors faster than effort ever will. Let's be honest about something we don't like to admit. People do not assess you in isolation. They assess you in context. When someone meets you for the first time, they are not just looking at you. They are subconsciously asking, who else is connected to this person? Who trusts them? Who stand beside them? Because in a crowded world, credibility is borrowed long before it is earned. This is social positioning. It is the invisible network around you, the introductions that precede you, the associations that quietly speak on your behalf before you ever open your mouth. And whether you like it or not, Your associations are already negotiating your worth. Human beings use shortcuts. They don't have the time or emotional energy to deeply evaluate everyone they meet, so they lean on signals. And one of the strongest signals is proximity. Who you are seen with becomes a reference point. Who vouches for you becomes a filter. Who mentions your name in certain rooms can change the way your entire presence is received. That is why a recommendation can move faster than a resume. Why an introduction can outperform years of self-promotion. Why one respected voice saying your name can achieve what 1,000 explanations cannot. Social positioning is not about name dropping. It is about name circulation. It is about whether your name travels in rooms you are not physically present in. Because the real opportunities rarely announce themselves publicly. They move through conversations. Private conversations. Trusted conversations. Many people struggle not because they lack ability, but because nobody credible is saying their name when it matters. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Not everyone in your life can take you where you are going. Some people are good for companionship, but not for elevation. Some are good for laughter, but not for leverage. Some are loyal but limited. And loyalty without growth can quietly trap you. This is where social positioning becomes painful, because it forces you to audit your relationships without sentimentality. It asks you to separate comfort from contribution, to distinguish between people who support your journey emotionally and people who can support it strategically. Both matter, but confusing them is costly. You cannot build a next-level future with only next-door relationships. Social positioning does not mean using people. It means aligning intentionally. It means being aware that proximity is not neutral. The people you spend the most time with influence how you think, how you speak, what you normalize, and what you believe is possible. Over time, you start to sound like your circle. You start to adopt their fears or their boldness, their excuses or their standards, their pace or their discipline. This is why some people stay talented, but small. Their environment never challenges them. Their circle never stretches them. Their conversations never elevate them. And let's address a dangerous myth, that you must wait until you arrive before associating with people ahead of you, that thinking will keep you waiting forever. Growth does not happen in isolation. You don't become better first and then find better people. You often become better by being around better people. But this requires humility. Because when you step into stronger circles, you won't be the smartest person in the room anymore. You won't be the most accomplished. You won't be the loudest voice. And that can bruise the ego. Yet ego is often the biggest barrier to social elevation. People who grow socially understand how to add value before they ask for access. They listen more than they speak. They learn the language of the room. They respect the rules of the space. They don't force familiarity. They let trust build organically. And trust is the real currency here. Social positioning is not about collecting contacts. It is about cultivating trust. One solid relationship with someone credible is more powerful than 50 shallow connections. That is why opportunistic behavior destroys positioning. When people sense desperation, extraction, or entitlement, doors close quietly. But when they sense sincerity, consistency, and contribution, doors open naturally. Another hard truth: some relationships expire, not because of conflict, but because of divergence. Growth creates distance, and trying to drag everyone along often slows you down. You are allowed to outgrow circles. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to choose new reference points. The mistake many people make is announcing their evolution instead of embodying it. They argue their growth. They explain their new standards. They seek permission. But social repositioning does not happen through speeches. It happens through behavior, through consistency, through boundaries. When you change what you tolerate, who you prioritize, and how you move, people adjust their perception without being told. Social positioning also teaches you something critical. Credibility compounds. When one respected person trusts you, it makes the next person more open. Trust moves in chains. That's why protecting your reputation is non-negotiable. You don't just represent yourself. You represent everyone who has ever vouched for you. And this is why how you exit relationships matters as much as how you enter new ones. Burning bridges might feel powerful in the moment, but it damages your long-term social equity. Quiet exits preserve dignity. Grace protects your name. Let me say this clearly. Social positioning is not manipulation. It is stewardship. You are stewarding your name, your associations, and your access. You are deciding where your energy flows and where it no longer does. And here's the part people don't talk about enough. You must also become the kind of person others are proud to associate with. Credible people protect their own positioning. They don't attach themselves to chaos, inconsistency, or unreliability. If you want strong associations, you must be stable, disciplined, and trustworthy. Elevation is mutual. So ask yourself, honestly, if someone respected introduced you today, would you enhance or endanger their reputation? That question alone can reshape how you show up. Let me end here. Perception positioning gets you noticed. Physical positioning gets you into rooms. But social positioning determines whether you are invited back. Your name will travel farther than your body ever can. Make sure it travels well. Because long after the room empties, long after the event ends, long after the conversation is over, decisions will still be made about you based on who said your name and how they said it. Choose your associations with intention. They are writing your future in rooms you may never enter. Let me leave you with this. You don't rise because you desire greatness. You rise because you align your life with it. Greatness is rarely blocked by lack of talent. It is blocked by poor positioning, by staying too long in small rooms, by keeping circles that cannot stretch you, by sending signals that undersell your value. Positioning is not pretending. It is preparation. It is choosing environments that challenge you, associations that sharpen you, and presentation that reflects who you are becoming, not who you used to be. Your future is not waiting for you to be perfect. It is waiting for you to be intentional. So be deliberate about where you show up. Be selective about who you walk with. Be disciplined about how you are seen. Because long before greatness announces itself, it is quietly negotiated in rooms you choose, with people you keep, and through signals you send. Position yourself well, and when the moment comes, greatness will recognize you.